Hi everyone, here's Ed.
Hey there, we are virtually tasting this Thursday night. Hope you're plugged up here to our YouTube channel, enjoying company and sharing some great wine. We do this every Thursday and hope you can join us, if not in person, right here on our YouTube channel. We do it here in person at 6 p.m. on Thursdays. So if you're in downtown Mount Airy, come join the fun. We love our wine, don't we, Shiv?
I struggle to find something I love more.
Yeah.
I mean, except for my kids and my wife, of course, and you.
Right.
But, I just mean like material things.
Yeah. Well, it is lucky for us, we're in a position where we can never run dry. Sure.
What a great set of circumstances.
That's right. Well, we haven't been doing much with Italian reds, so I thought we'd zip over there and
What a great reunion this is going to be.
we're gonna go to
Thank you.
Chianti Classico. Of course, Classico meaning the kind of the original Chianti. It expanded its borders and making the larger area still called Chianti, but the inner kind of old school part of Chianti is Chianti Classico. So older grounds for Sangiovese. Of course, it doesn't have to be 100% Sangiovese. Unlike Brunello, that has to be 100%. In Chianti, they can, I believe it's up to 20% they can blend in, but it is Sangiovese driven. And I see a lot of the more modern producers that are not in Classico region and the Chianti region, maybe blend in some Merlot or Malbec or something that gives a little more fruit.
Nice.
Give it more body. But generally speaking, in Classico part of Chianti, you're going to get a more kind of austere, kind of intense, bright red fruit. More old school, I would say, less modern, which is a good thing. This is why we like them so much, is because of what their reputation holds. When you see this DOCG sticker on here, the Black Rooster, of course, this is a sign of quality that you can trust. And this is a pretty one. This is from Bossi. This is actually a Riserva level. Sorry, I'm getting my fingers out of the way there. So Riserva level, again, another elevated, qualitative term. It's not just marketing. You're looking at a year guarantee in oak, and obviously a lot longer before it's released. I mean, Sangiovese is pretty intense as it is, and then when you put some oak on it, it's going to be even more intense. So we're going to be drinking a 2016, so about 5.5 years old. And wow, old world, beautiful nose.
Gorgeous.
Lots of organic and red fruit, organic matter, forest floor. And I tell you what, the palate follows. It's not going to trick you on the nose. It's completely,
That's exactly right.
completely matched, harmonized.
Yep. It follows through on exactly what you think when you get that beautiful bouquet. A lot of times you can't get a little curveball on that once you taste it. Not here.
There's some beautiful earth here.
Red fruit.
Kind of like that old school, old timey candy flavors, those spicy flavors like horehound or sassafras, and things of that nature. Things that remind you of kind of old timey spices. I wouldn't say it's necessarily
Almost a blend, like a blended spice. I used to always have those little blends. You never knew what was in there. It just said spice blend.
Right. So in other words, there's a lot going on in this glass, and that's why we love it. Of course, Sangiovese brings you that medium weight. This is not a heavy wine, but it's an intense wine, and that's what makes it so great for food. And that's why it's served so many times at Italian dinner tables and restaurants. So if you're looking for something to have with any of your Italian cuisine, or obviously this is going to be a food wine, but I think it's pretty darn good right out of the gates. I think you could skip the food if you want.
You wouldn't have any trouble enjoying this without it, but certainly food and wine are always elevated together. But to be sure, you've got a friend and companion in this.
Beautiful,
Delicious.
bright acidity, mouth-watering, dry.
Absolutely dry.
Just
dry.
got all the things that we're looking for. This is actually a wine that I brought in for the chef's table for a pairing. I always like to have a really classic Sangiovese around for pairing purposes, and this is certainly one that checks all the boxes. This is as classic as it gets, in my opinion.
Well, I just adore this. This is terrific. Not only have we had a little break from Italy, but from Chianti as well. So like a visit from an old friend.
That's right. Yeah, we've done a whole lot of Italian whites at the chef's table, and of course we did that pecorino as well at the
Pecorino
tasting. That was a big hit.
Huge.
As a matter of fact, that was another one that we brought in for the chef's table that found its way to the Thursday night
To the
tasting.
Thursday night day, and if I remember correctly, you actually sold some of that after the chef's
Absolutely.
table. And
It
that
was-
was the one that stuck out that people wanted to take home.
Absolutely, it was very well received. And if you haven't had pecorino out there, I highly suggest that one of the great Italian whites from the Abruzzo region. So many great grapes from Italy. But yeah, this is the most famous, arguably, maybe not arguably.
Or at least the most recognizable.
Yeah, Sangiovese, Tuscan, beauty, ageable. It's got all of the elements that you want and then some. That's what I like about it. It always gives you something a little
A
extra.
little extra. It's like there's something to be said for in a world that disappoints to exceed expectations.
Absolutely. So this is why forever everybody loves Italian wines, and this is a really I don't know if this would be a jumping off point for someone. I think start with like a Barbera or Montepulciano, and then kind of work your way into this, because I think this is a little more intense. But there's just so many great opportunities in Italy, and I'm so glad that we get to taste so many of them here.
And the journey continues. Something tells me I don't choose these things. Something tells me this will be our last Italian for a while. It's always exciting.
Of course, Chef Chris and I are the biggest fans in the world of Barolo, so we love our Italian reds. So, Chef, what are you thinking about food pairing with this?
Well, we got a wonderful combo, kind of a Greensboro combo. So we're gonna do a lamb salumi from San Giuseppe, which is a very famous butcher there in Greensboro. When we were at American Accents, they were in they had just had this little bitty shop where they used to do their sausages and things. And of course, they've really grown over the decades, as we all have. And he's got a beautiful lamb salumi. And so we're gonna be offering that with some of the Goat Lady Dairy vegetable ash goat cheese. It'll be a great little combo. And we're talking about this wine standing on its own with or without food. So, I mean, just having some, I don't want to say just cheese and sausage, because that doesn't do the quality of the cheese and the sausage, justice, because they are very elevated. But we're not going to go too crazy with the Sangiovese, because I think that's something that you would enjoy in Italy, in Tuscany. I think you would sit on the porch and have a little chev and salumi. It would be a very appropriate thing to go with it.
Absolutely. Can't go wrong with that kind of, that's a great meal.
Absolutely, we could stop there.
All right, well, again, we're bringing it at under $30 once again, so no reason why you should worry about number of bottles. So we're going to move on to Western Australia. This is the Great Southern AVA of the western area of Australia, and there's I apologize, but I think it's 6 or 7 regions that Australia is broken down into. Most all the stuff that you're getting, generally speaking, is coming from the southern and southeastern part of Australia. This area accounts for, I think, less than 2% of all the wines of Australia, but it also accounts for a significant percentage of the higher end wines. So it's more of a lower production, perceived higher quality. I mean, that's all in the palate of the beholder, but I can tell you, I wouldn't be showing this to you if I didn't love it.
That's a true story.
And so we're looking at an area that is influenced by bodies of ocean water, rivers. It's just there's so much environmentally that's very different than most any other region in the world. We're on the southern shore of Western Australia, which means it's, the farther south you go on the southern side of the equator, obviously it's getting cooler and cooler.
Yeah, that's the Indian Ocean there.
Mm-hmm. It is, absolutely. And so as the further you go south, the cooler it's getting. So these wines tend to be what I would consider very old world in style. They're not going to be these big jammy Shiraz that you would expect. As a matter of fact, it's interesting that when you see almost any time that you see a Syrah in Australia, it's going to say Shiraz. And even in this particular label, they list Syrah because it does drink more old world than Australian. And that is certainly, the way I think every wine producer should approach how they're labeling their wines. It should be to not trick the guest, but tell the consumer, what kind of style should I expect from this? Kind of like Pinot Grigio and Pinot Gris. Same grape, but usually Pinot Gris is going to be, it's outside of Italy, first of all, usually, almost always, and it tends to have a different flavor profile than Pinot Grigio. But I have seen California Pinot Grigio, so because it drinks more, the producer felt like this drinks more like it does in Italy than it would on the West Coast. So that's where we're going here. That's why it says Syrah. Howard Park, we've done their Chardonnay before, which everyone was just really adored. It's complex, lightly oaked, totally imbalanced. We've actually done it at the chef's table as well.
Absolutely.
So here with their Syrah, and relatively young in terms of Syrah. We've got the 2019 here. Now that would be the February of 2019. So you're looking at 3 years roughly since it was picked. And let's get into it, Chef.
Well, I've already had my socks blown off by this because to full disclosure, I found out about this wine 12 minutes and 56 seconds ago. So I was like, okay, it's gonna taste like the sun, big fruit, big jam. Smelled it, tasted it, I was like, whoa, that is so elegant. It was not at all what I was expecting. Of course, now that I've, like we're supposed to do, sat here and listened to you and learned about this area and why it's different, makes perfect sense. But it didn't make sense to me because I, of course, slugged a little bit before you even started talking, and I was already blown away.
It's a very pretty wine. It's not going to be that.
Excuse me.
It's not going to be that big beast of a Shiraz. It's quite elegant. It's going to be a wine that you could really introduce people to Syrah. I think it's a great way to do it because it gives you an idea of what Syrah is. It's more in a restrained manner, which I really dig. I mean, the nose on this is gorgeous. It almost smells like salumi. It has fat and pepper
and spice
on the nose, and that's certainly
caraway, or is it juniper? A little juniper, maybe. Really, really nice.
Mm-hmm. A lot of organic smells, a lot of different types of what I would call peppercorns. I think about that little tricolored
that
mix.
Little green, white, black mix. Yeah, that's a great call.
Yeah.
Great call.
Yeah. So that's a very typical of Syrah that you're gonna get those notes, and it's fruit wise it does taste very New World, but texturally, finesse wise, I guess it's like an old world meets New World.
It's a great blending of the two. I mean, the thing is, sometimes for me, and I'm not saying I know anything. Sometimes for me on those big Australian Shiraz, I mean, I can't get over the jam. I mean, even when it has tannin, even when there's some other elements of integration, it's really hard for me to move past it. I find it blows my palate out early. And this is nothing like that. Now, I'm not saying all of them. I'm just
Sure.
you
Yeah,
got
the
a few,
general.
You got a few biggies.
Yeah, I get that.
This is really elegant.
Mhm.
Very nice.
This, you know what else it reminds me of, Chef, is like a South African style.
Yeah.
You know,
Little
because
Bernard Griffin style.
they do call, you know, like Cedarburg, you know, they have that beautiful Shiraz, but yeah, I find that they have a lot more finesse, I guess, in their reds. They don't get like really overly muscular.
And again, you know, you're talking about wineries in an area that really embraces the French style. So, you know, here in Western Australia, I guess they're embracing the French. I know Australia embraces French grapes, but
Sure.
more of a French approach, I guess.
It sure comes across that
Yeah.
way. And we're
I know a lot of
grateful
the
for it.
South African wines we've had, of course, that's certainly the case.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've been very fortunate to have quite a few. And speaking of South African wines, we do have that wine dinner right here in person on Sunday at 5 p.m. on April 24th. We'd love to have you here if you can do it. We're going to have 4 wines from Elephant Corner. Andy, who's the self-distributing agent, him and his partner, the winemaker in South Africa, he's going back and forth across to South Africa, and you know, he helps with harvest, and then he comes back, and you know, he's doing a great job representing
Fascinating guy.
not only his winery, but neighboring wineries, small wineries, from a most beautiful place in the world, and we're really looking forward to hearing he's so passionate.
He had great stories, really interesting guy, can speak knowledgeably on a multitude of subjects, and he's just fascinating to listen to. I mean, beyond his accent, which is gorgeous, you know, some accents are really coarse. He has just a beautiful parlance, and he's great to listen to, really intelligent, very passionate, great storyteller. Come on out, we're gonna have some wonderful food, wonderful wine, and you have the place to yourself on a Sunday.
Yep. Normally we're closed on Sunday, but so it's just gonna be us enjoying wine and food, and Chef going through that menu. It's gonna be
fun.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're really excited about that. So back to the Howard Park. I diverted there. My apologies. Chef, what are do you have something in mind for pairing with this?
How about some duck confit?
That's a great idea.
I think the fat from the confit and a little bit of salt on this is going to be excellent.
Absolutely. So what's the story on your duck confit?
Well, I don't know what I'll do with it yet. All I know is I prepped it today, so I've got I've got it salted and seasoned, and I'm rendering the fat as we speak. So I'm gonna do the braising in the morning. I made that beautiful little bacon balsamic onion jam today. That might be good with a confit. Or is that gonna knock it out too over the top?
No, I
You want
kinda
some
like
fruit
it.
with this? I've got
Sure,
some fruit.
absolutely, yeah.
Some apricots, have some cranberries.
Cranberry with it, yeah.
Cranberry?
Yeah.
We're gonna have cranberry with the duck confit.
Yeah, that'd be lovely.
Yeah.
I think that'll just help bring everything together.
Yeah, I'll bind that.
There is like a little umami in this wine too. I think that the duck confit will certainly complement, or maybe the wine will complement the
very
duck
much.
confit. I guess we'll have to let our guests determine that for sure.
Well, give us some feedback. Let us know what you think. Maybe we went the right way, maybe we went the wrong way.
Man, and that is
Well, it's opening up too.
That's
It's-
again
you're getting
another
a lot of different flavors.
another wine under $30. It drinks so elegant. This is a beautiful wine. Something that you could take to anywhere, any setting, whether it's high end or just casual, relaxed. It is a twist off, so you know you can
Be great going to someone's house for an afternoon for a little barbecue or something. It'd be a great carry along.
Yep, absolutely. I think they would appreciate it greatly.
The thinking about Australia, I guess from Far East, where the Great Barrier Reef is, and most of the big cities. And it's probably what, 3 time zones over to the western part?
Gosh, I don't know, Chef.
3 or 4. I mean, Australia is just
Seems
massive.
big, yeah.
So, I mean, that is probably like a whole nother world
Yeah,
from
Yeah.
one place to the other.
yeah, there's
And, you
no
know, like
doubt.
Adelaide and everything, it's kind of right
Kind of
smack in the middle and
Mhm.
in the south. But I mean, you would think,
Mhm.
I mean, you look up at, you know, Southeast Asia and China and Russia and all that area. I mean, Australia landmass wise is,
Sure,
you know,
yeah.
you would think, I mean, that was,
When you were saying Adelaide, that reminded me when we had Hasselgrove and the winemaker
yeah.
from Black Billy. That was a great dinner too.
great dinner. Great, they taught another great orator.
Yeah.
Raconteur, if you will. Another, I
Yeah.
mean, he was a hoot.
Absolutely, and he was just so gracious. We're so happy to peddle his wares. You don't have to peddle it though; it sells itself.
It
But
sells
it's great to
itself.
get it in front of people.
Yeah, we were even in talking to him even further on about some collaborations when COVID hit. And,
Yeah.
you know, I guess we
Yeah.
ought to start talking to him again at some point.
Yeah.
But I mean, even now, you know, you're talking about. You imagine putting wine on a boat right now, sitting at the port of Los Angeles for 6 months before you can get it over here.
Yeah, or Charleston or wherever.
Charleston's even worse.
It's all bad out there as far as shipping. And that's, you know, a lot of people have ordered wine from me that have been patiently waiting 6-8 weeks for it, and I appreciate their patience because,
The wine's ready.
Yeah.
It's just,
yeah, it's just hard to get it to get it into our hands. But yeah, we just keep trying, and eventually it all works itself out.
I've got a really bad memory, but did I talk about when we were flying out of Seattle, flying over the container ships?
No, I don't
I'll
think
tell
so.
you about that. I mean, it was one thing to see it on the news. But, you know, when we were flying out of Seattle, you know, plane kind of swooped around the ocean and the bays before we flew up, and just seeing these endless lines of container ships. It was full, anchored, waiting to be unloaded at the port in Seattle.
Wow.
I mean, it was just like as far as you could see. I mean, they were all in the canals, all out in the ocean, just everywhere. I mean, they were everywhere,
That's so crazy.
one after another, none of them moving. You know, there's,
Yeah.
there's dock waiting for their turn.
I don't
It was
understand.
interesting to personally see it and not
Yeah.
think, oh, yeah, they're making like no. I mean, that in Seattle, I know is a big port, but it's still nothing compared to Charleston, New York, Houston,
Norfolk.
Houston, L.A. I mean, and there were just dozens and dozens and dozens of container ships full, just waiting.
Well,
Just thinking about all the things that are on those ships.
I know, right?
We ought to be able to make some of that.
Well, hopefully we are gonna get that part of the world straightened out eventually. It just doesn't seem like there's been any progress. But we shall see, right?
Yeah.
Well, everybody, it's always a pleasure to taste along with you. I hope you're enjoying your Thursday night evening or whatever evening you decide to watch this.
Hope
You
they're
know,
all wonderful.
That's the great thing about this. You can revisit, rewatch, and
Like we do.
like we do. That's right, absolutely. So remember to always keep wine at the forefront of your mind and make sure you have plenty of bottles around for when you have guests. Because that's what really, this time, like, you know, it's really easy to get down on the world, but as long as you have wine, there's always that beautiful pick-me-up, that grounding nature, that socialization, the history. There's just so many great things about wine to be excited about. And you know what? The sun will come up tomorrow, and there'll be more.
It will, and there'll be more flowers and more birds and more beautiful things to focus on, like your friends and your wine and
Yep.
your container gardens.
Yep, and we will see you on the other side of Easter.
Yep.
So happy Easter to all
Happy,
you out
happy
there.
Easter indeed.
Hope you have a chance to relax and unwind and kind of
Reflect.
count your blessings.
Reflect on this special time.
That's right. We'll see you next week.
Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.